I'll get started. I'll get started with you, Jessie. I mean, it's so nice to meet for a second season because we have the luxury of a positive reaction to discuss. You must have been so thrilled with the response to the first season.
I was. It's really fun to be on a show people are watching. I really loved getting the feedback that we did on Twitter, and the reviews were just incredible. And so it's been really fun. But my favorite was definitely my grandmother, who was like, "Oh, I didn't know you could be so mean." that was really fun for me.
It's pretty nice to hear that. Then I didn't know you could be so nice. Probably. But Danny, I was going to ask, is there a kind of second season swagger that comes about when you've been on a show? And because I guess that first season, everyone's kind of sounding each other out. They're trying to work, even sort of get to know their own characters and figure out if it's going to be well received. But when you've got the kind of backing of an audience and it's kind of doing well, and there's a kind of confidence in the ranks, do you come back on set with a bit more confidence, I suppose?
Absolutely. I think it's really refreshing to be able to come on set just naturally as an ensemble comedy. To have that built-in chemistry after our first season is invaluable, and especially in this time, to be able to come back and work with different protocols and procedures, to have that chemistry and to know where we can go with certain people and certain characters just allows you to go to different places and stretch. So there's certainly more freedom in a second season, and a willingness to try and explore more. You've already built in some basic facts. You've laid a foundation for a lot of your character work, and now it's just fun to bounce off each other in different ways. So now I kind of know where I stand. I know how evil Brad is, and now it's just fun to be like, let's see if we can enhance that evil with Jessie. And let's see if we collaborate. Where else can we go with this? Which is wonderful because, like you said, in season one, you're still kind of learning about who you are. You're still kind of living in these shoes and feeling like, does this work? Does this feel right? And now it's fun. You can kind of be a little bit more loose on set.
Yeah, Jessie, do you think you have to kind of like the characters in order to play them? Because obviously, like you said, I mean, they're somewhat flawed, but there is something to cling on to, isn't there? There are some nice elements.
Yes, definitely. I mean, I think as an objective audience member of the show, I can see that Jo is a flawed person, but in order to play Jo, I have to really feel her pain in order to hit that mean strike. People always say hurt people, and so I had to do some actorly things of filling in the blanks of why she's so mean. But I love her. I love everything about her, and I love getting to play a character who doesn't care whether or not people like her.
And Danny, what do you think it is about this particular kind of environment, the kind of workplace that has so much comedic potential? Because obviously it's not just this, but The Office ran for countless series as well. There's just something, isn't there, about this kind of workplace kind of setting that just breeds so much kind of brilliant characters and comedy.
I do. I find myself drawn to office comedies and workplace comedies just because there's this natural collision of different points of view. It's very natural. I think a lot of people can relate to that. Being put in an environment, whether it's school, whether it's the office, whether it's a club, whether it's your own family, where you have to sit together in one room to accomplish a task. But at the same time, if a task comes in front of you, you'll come at it in different ways, And I think in our environment in particular, there's a natural friction there. Like I play Brad, who's the head of monetization. He's just looking to monetize the game. Then there's the creative group who is looking to try to make it as creative as possible. So there's a natural tension there, which I think lends itself to comedy. And that's just really fun to explore.
My final question, Jess, I was going to ask if there was much room for kind of improvisation, because I know it sounds like you kind of got to know the characters a bit better. So with that probably comes better improv. And I was reading somewhere that Rob would just kind of say anything that comes to mind, which I guess gave you the license to do the same.
Well, we've got incredible scripts and great writers. This season, I was welcomed into the writer's room, so I got to be a little bit involved in the sculpting of what happens to Jo this season, which was really fun. But when it comes time to actually shoot, we usually stick pretty close to the script, and then every now and then we'll do a couple fun runs where we just get to throw out new ideas, and those things do end up in the edit. But for the most part, everything I'm saying is something I read on a piece of paper and was told to say.
Well, it's so well written, it'd be strange to deviate away from that, I suppose. But thank you so much for your time today, and best of luck with the second season.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys.
Hey You Guys, huh?
Hey, you guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yeah.
Nice.
Hey!